On Mountain News this morning, Ronald Exantis is staying behind bars and will serve the rest of his prison sentence. And Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene is resigning from Congress. We'll tell you why.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Welcome to Mountain News This Morning. I'm McKinley Calandrino here with you on this Monday, November 24th. The time is now 4:59. Let's check in with meteorologist Megan Dismal for a look at your forecast this morning. Megan, it was really foggy coming to work this morning, so what can you kind of tell us about the rest of the morning for viewers watching?
Well, you're exactly right. It is a very foggy start to the day. In fact, most folks in Eastern Kentucky are under a dense fog advisory. There's only a couple of folks not in that advisory. However, you're still looking at patchy fog this morning, so keep that in mind as you're heading on your morning drive. Here's a look at that current visibility this morning, looking at 0-mile visibility in portions of Moorhead and Hazard, Harlan, and Middlesboro, as well as Monticello, so drive carefully as you're heading out the door. We are fortunate enough to see no rain in that forecast, just a little bit of clouds here and there to start off your day, and temperatures aren't terrible as we normally sit in the upper 30s, and that's about what we're seeing this morning, so about on par in terms of temperatures to start off your day. But by the afternoon, we'll be sitting in the mid 60s, low to mid 60s for our northern counties, and mid to upper 60s in our more southern counties. McKinley.
All right, thank you, Megan. Kentucky State Police are investigating a deadly shooting in Floyd County. Troopers were called by Prestonsburg 911 to the Beaver community Friday to reports of an unresponsive woman. Investigators say they found 35-year-old Sarah Salone dead in a home off of Kentucky 979. KSP says she had a gunshot wound and was pronounced dead on the scene by the Floyd County coroner. Her body has been sent to the state medical examiner for an autopsy. And a man is behind bars after another shooting in eastern Kentucky. Kentucky State Police say it happened at around 4 a.m. Saturday off of the Cold Iron Branch Road area of Harlan County. Troopers were called to the home of Brian Johnson, who had been shot. He was declared dead at a local hospital. Police identified the suspect shooter as 45-year-old James Sizemore from Cumberland. He's being held on murder charges in the Harlan County Jail. KSP is still looking into what happened before the shooting. Ronald Exantis is staying behind bars and will serve the rest of his prison sentence. The Kentucky Parole Board made that decision after reviewing Exantis' file. Exantis was charged in connection with the stabbing death of 6-year-old Logan Tipton in Versailles in 2015. The parole board unanimously voted to keep Exantis behind bars 3 times, but a decade-old law required his release on mandatory re-entry. Supervision on October 1st, Exantis was rearrested in Florida just 8 days later for failing to register as a convicted felon. On Mountain News this morning, we're hearing from the Tipton family for the first time since Exantis was ordered to serve out his sentence.
He took away everything from us, everything.
He killed every member of my family that day. Nobody that's sitting here today is the same person they were when they went to bed December 6th.
The Tipton family says they're grateful Exantis is back behind bars, but they feel he should have never been released. His sentence is now set to end in June 2026. New Israeli airstrikes in Gaza over the weekend are testing a delicate ceasefire with the Hamas that is now a little more than a month old. And Sunday, Israel launched an airstrike in Lebanon in the first attack in months on Hezbollah leadership. Bradley Blackburn is tracking the latest.
There were familiar scenes of destruction in Gaza over the weekend, with burned out buildings, piles of debris, and the charred remains of a vehicle after new Israeli airstrikes. The Hamas-run health ministry reported at least 24 people were killed and dozens more wounded, including children. A truce means complete ceasefire, this man said, but it can't be like this, with them attacking and us attacking. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu accused Hamas of repeatedly violating the ceasefire agreement and said Israel will continue to act independently, in Gaza and Lebanon, where the Israeli military struck Sunday, releasing this footage of an attack they say killed a Hezbollah chief of staff. It is the first strike on the capital city of Beirut in months, targeting the Iranian-backed militant group. On Sunday, a Hezbollah official said the Israeli attack, quote, crosses a new red line. In the Oval Office Friday, President Trump was asked about the situation in the Middle East.
Hezbollah has been a problem in Lebanon, big problem. We're working with Lebanon. We're working with everybody in the Middle East.
Israeli airstrikes in southern Lebanon have increased in recent weeks as the U.S. and Israel pressure the Lebanese government to disarm Hezbollah. Lebanon denies Israeli claims that the group is trying to rebuild its military capability. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
This weekend's attack in Beirut come with less than a week before Pope Leo XIV is scheduled to visit Lebanon as part of his first foreign trip. He'll arrive in the country November 30th, and as he's told reporters, he'll bring a message of hope and peace in the Middle East. The Trump administration is touting progress on peace proposal to end Russia's invasion on Ukraine after holding a highly productive talks in Switzerland. Today, European leaders are meeting to discuss the peace plan, but as the U.S. looks to wind down the Russia-Ukraine war, it is also ratcheting up the pressure on Venezuela, despite a new CBS poll that's showing that Americans are overwhelmingly against taking military action there.
I think we made a tremendous amount of progress. There's still some work to be done.
The new CBS News poll shows that 70% of Americans oppose taking military action in Venezuela. In a surprise announcement late Friday, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene said she is resigning from Congress in January. The Georgia Republican, who was once a loyal supporter of President Trump, revealed her plan in more than a 10-minute video posted online. In explaining her decision, Greene said she's, quote, always been despised in Washington, D.C., and it just never fit in. Greene's resignation follows a public falling out with President Trump in recent months.
I have too much self-respect and dignity. I love my family way too much, and I do not want my sweet district to have to endure a hurtful and hateful primary against me by the president that we all fought for, only to fight and win my election while Republicans will likely lose the midterms, and in turn be expected to defend the president against impeachment after he hatefully dumped tens of millions of dollars against me and tried to destroy me.
Greene has criticized the president for his stance on files related to Jeffrey Epstein, along with the foreign policy and health care. In turn, Trump called her a traitor and wacky and said he would endorse a challenger against Greene when she's set to run for the re-election next year. Greene says in her last day of Congress would be January 5th. Lawmakers are condemning President Trump's social media post accusing 6 Democratic lawmakers of sedition, punishable by death. The president's comments came in response to a video from the lawmakers with military and national security backgrounds, with a message to concerned members of the military that they do not have to follow unlawful orders. The White House clarified that the president doesn't want to see lawmakers executed, but criticized the video. Some Republican leaders have tried to downplay the president's response, but others say it was inappropriate.
I don't think it's a good idea to talk about jailing your political opponents or hanging them or whatever else.
The Senate Minority Leader called on Capitol Police to give special protection to the lawmakers involved. Thanks for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News this morning. Graduate nursing programs are no longer considered a professional degree by the U.S. Department of Education. We'll tell you what that means next.
And chillier temperatures are on the way as we're heading into your Thanksgiving.